Stephen A. Apparently, Lue wanted to keep Kyrie. Talk to me.
That's something that's being said out of Cleveland. It's something that people have articulated. LeBron James and his camp have definitely made sure to let everybody know we didn't want to lose Kyrie. We want to lose Kyrie. We want Kyrie to stay. There are things that have happened with them on a personal level that's really none of anybody's business. On a professional level, LeBron James, it really was about Kyrie wanting out, but Kyrie had a couple of years left on his contract. They didn't have to oblige. And if LeBron James and those guys were hell-bent on keeping him there, I think he would still be there. Now, that doesn't mean that that would have been the right thing to do, because if you're LeBron James and you're the best in the world and you're going to be a title contender, look, if the brother wants to leave, let him leave, because I'm not going to beg him to stay now. I want him to stay. But if he doesn't want to stay, what can I do? So LeBron James can't be blamed for that. But I don't want to hear Tyronn Lue saying that right now, because this happened in the summertime. It is now the new year. I didn't hear Tyronn Lue say this before, and I love Tyronn Lue. I happen to believe in him as a coach, and I love him as a person. But I respectfully don't want to hear that from him now, whenever this was said, because the bottom line is clear. Not enough was done to assuage the feelings and the emotional state of mind that Kyrie Irving was in. Not enough was done. We hear Jackie McMullen, I watched on SportsCenter last night, alluding to how there was an incident in practice where Kyrie Irving, Tyronn Lue wanted him to push the ball up the floor, and Kyrie Irving wasn't trying to do that, and essentially alluded to that being LeBron James' job. Because Tyronn Lue said, you push the ball up the floor, you get shots for other people. You understand? And Kyrie was like, what you worried about me for? I'm going to get my shot no matter what. Ain't nobody going to stop me from getting my shot. He was like, well, what about everybody else? And Tyronn Lue reportedly said, hey, that's LeBron James' job. So that makes Kyrie look selfish. That harkened me back, Max, to when Kyrie Irving showed up here. Now, he evaded, he deflected, he did a lot of things. But the one thing that I think you could have peeled from here is that there was a respect for Tyronn Lue that did not seem that evident.
Right. I
don't think there's any way. That's the only way. He was here for 2 hours. And when you consider the fact that he was here for 2 hours, over an hour, rather.
Yeah, maybe an hour.
Over an hour. When you consider the fact that he was here for over an hour, let's take into consideration an hour and a half, actually, because he came to beat me. But if you look at him, and when he came, everything that he was saying, it didn't seem to have the profound respect for Tyronn Lue, let's say, that he has for Brad Stevens. That much was noticeable. And so now that this story comes out at this particular moment in time about what may have transpired in practice and beyond and all of this other stuff, it wouldn't surprise me at all if Tyronn Lue was willing to say something like that to deflect attention away from any kind of friction that may have existed between them, because Tyronn ain't about that. He wants to coach a team, get paid, go home, mind his business. He ain't about all that drama. That much I can tell you about him. And that's the only way that I can make sense out of what's happening right now, these words being said right now.
Yeah, right now it seems self-serving for Ty Lue to say that. Right. Kyrie's having a fantastic year. He's a fantastic player. And when he was on the show, I want to revisit that since you brought it up, Stephen A. When he was on the show, other than him saying that he's very much woke, where if someone suggests the earth is flat, which he's done since then again, they're not very much woke. They're the opposite of very much woke. They're dreaming. But it's a really stupid thing to say. But other than that, the other thing which stood out to me, the other thing that stood out to me about Kyrie is I asked him, listen, if you want to tell us it's none of our business, your personal relationship with LeBron James, and that may be the reason you're leaving, just tell us it's none of our business, and I'll respect that. And he didn't want to do that either. He wanted to kind of control, you always say LeBron wants to control the narrative. He wanted to control the narrative, Kyrie, to where he even evaded that. It's okay to say it's none of your business. You got to be the bad guy a little bit, but it's okay to be the bad guy. I'm not really putting that on. Just say it's none of my business. You got it. That's your and LeBron's business. I do understand, though, why he wouldn't want to be perceived as selfish. Because, in fact, the reason LeBron's on ball, or was on ball when Kyrie was in Cleveland, was because the team functioned best that way. Because LeBron is the most brilliant player. He's better than Kyrie. He's a better, smarter passer than, better, more gifted passer than Kyrie. And Kyrie is great. Kyrie is showing this year that he's not a selfish player. Kyrie is a team-oriented player whose numbers, whose scoring averages, assist averages and stuff is not what he's about. You can see his numbers are lower than you would anticipate as the primary ball handler because he's just trying to win. He's also playing defense in high-leverage moments. But the point is he was used off-ball a lot because the team functioned better that way. And so for him to ask out seems selfish because of a personal relationship with LeBron, because he wants his own team, all seems selfish, and he doesn't want to appear selfish. And I understand that, Stephen A., based on the way he's playing this year so far. Kyrie is playing an unselfish, fantastic brand of basketball. I understand why he wouldn't want to be perceived as a selfish player, because he's not.